What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day of Philly sports history for March 18th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Hope everyone had a safe and fun St. Patrick's Day. I know I was able to actually get out and watch some of the March Madness games with some good friends from the old school. So always good to hang out with them, have a few beers, reminisce, cry over our brackets being busted. But it is what it is. 'Tis the season. Let's start with our Philly Sports Women History Spotlight. Today, we're going to spotlight Susan Francia. She was born in Hungary but grew up in Abington, went to Abington High School. She went to the University of Penn, where she began rowing as a sophomore. And for getting such a late start into rowing, she took to it and just excelled. She was All-American in 2004. She is a two-time gold medalist in the women's 8. The Beijing as well as the London Games. She's a 5-time world champion. She was a former world record holder in the women's 8, which I believe was just beat at the last Olympics by like 2 seconds or something. But she also coached a little bit at the University of Cal San Diego. She's currently living in Princeton, New Jersey. But she just, like I said, for somebody who took on the sport, and I don't know if she did rowing like recreationally or anything in between that, but competitive rowing, picking it up as sophomore year in college, and to just be that successful world champion, gold medalist, world record holder is just phenomenal. And again, it's amazing now that I'm getting more and more aware of my surroundings and just how many great people grew up in the area I live in, which is just another great reason of why I love this area. But today we spotlight Susan Francia for her rowing career at the University of Penn and just for the United States women's team. So thank you, Miss Francia. All right, so speaking of the brackets, man, lots of exciting games. Purdue going down as the number 1 seed. They're like that one team that, and we were talking about it yesterday too. Xavier's another one. Like they've always killed me. Like the years I have Purdue getting knocked out early, they go to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. The years I have them going pretty far, they get knocked out. Like, so obviously this was like a historic run. Like usually it's only the second time ever a 1 seed has lost. But luckily, I did not have them going to the Final Four, so hopefully that's going to keep my bracket on life support. Flyers won 5-2. They are still bunched with a group of teams where they could still move up 5 points or 5 spots or still move down. The season's winding down, so again, we want to. Great, you got to win here. Let's go back on a nice little losing streak and see if we can improve that draft position somewhat. Union are in action tonight against Montreal. Another good win for the Sixers. Like I said, I mean they're doing what they need to do. Like I am flipping between that and college basketball yesterday, and it's just they came out and did exactly what they should have done to Charlotte. They just dominated and basically. I mean, Joe just was his normal self. James Harden had a triple-double. James Harden has been quietly just been dominant. That was another thing we talked about yesterday. Like, he's just under the radar, triple-double, just missing a triple-double. So, obviously, he's playing for a contract, and that's fine. I say pay him. But hopefully that parlays itself then into a nice little playoff run. They are currently 2.5 games behind Milwaukee, a game behind Boston, but they're still tied in the loss column. So it should be interesting. Like I said, I think they need to get one of those top 3 spots. I think by virtue of beating Cleveland the other day, because of tiebreakers, barring a colossal collapse, I think they should be good to get one of those top 3. But I mean, obviously the higher you go, the better the draw. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go. But let's go back, and today it's going to be yet another Wilt Chamberlain Appreciation Day, and it's funny that I don't know. Like, it's not something I've ever, like, I'm purposely planning, but it's just some of the stuff that this guy has done is just phenomenal. So we're going to go give you a double Wilt Chamberlain day today. First, we're going to go back to 1968. And on this day, he had the only, or believed to have the only quintuple-double in NBA history. Now, I said believe because the NBA didn't necessarily count blocks or steals as an official stat back then. But on this day, it was believed he had 53 points, 32 rebounds, and 14 assists. It is believed that he had 24 blocks. Yes, that's not a typo. 24 blocks and 11 steals. Like, that to me, just let that sink in for a little bit. That's just how dominant this dude was. The Sixers beat the Lakers that day, 158-128. They were the defending champs. They would end up losing in the Eastern Conference Final. But Wilt Chamberlain had a quintuple-double. 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 24 blocks, and 11 steals. That just, to me, shows just how dominant this guy was. So, first Wilt Chamberlain event on this day back in 1968, quintuple-double. Like, we've seen a couple quadruple doubles here and there, but a quintuple double. Like, you just have to be the best player on the court by a lot in order to have stats like that. So, yes, and I agree. I'm a big Michael Jordan, Kobe, like, as the best players all, but I think Wilt is just in a league by himself. So, like, quintuple double, like, it's just ridiculous to even think about. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. But second Wilt, on this day back in 1991, the Sixers retired his number 13 jersey. The numbers, in case you're wondering, that they have retired: Moses, Iverson, Dolph Schayes, Dr. J, Mo Cheeks, Hal Greer, Bobby Jones, Billy Cunningham, and Charles Barkley. But Wilt is the only player, we've talked a lot about this, to have his number retired by 3 different teams as well as the Globetrotters. So on this day, the number 13 was retired and hung in the rafters for the Sixers. Ironically enough, on the anniversary of Wilt's quintuple-double. So, like I said, I've said this 1,000 times. The man's in a league by himself. Go if you can. There's very little, but if you can find some footage of Wilt, find it. You will not be disappointed. Shout out to Susan Francia for her rowing prowess. If your bracket is busted, why not give Back to the Future a listen? It is Eagles free agency. No real big updates yesterday. I know all of a sudden we've been following the C.J. Gardner-Johnson thing, but all of a sudden a blast from the past has come up in a possible free agent signing. Jalen Mills, the Green Goblin, all of a sudden I saw his name kind of pop up in some spaces as a possible Howie signing. Hopefully, I haven't really followed his career since he left the Eagles, to be completely honest, so I don't know what's going on, but I know Bill Belichick's probably not going to release a guy that can still have some things, and I don't want this to be more of like a nostalgic pick, like, hey, let's bring him back. I still would rather C.J. Gardner-Johnson, so we'll keep an eye on that. But back to the Future, if your bracket's busted, it is NFL free agency. I go over the top 5 and top 5 best and top 5 worst free agent signings of all time by the Eagles. Definitely worth a listen. Tell your friends. Like I said, tell one person about the podcast, and I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, talk it up, whatever you need to do. Hopefully we get the word out there. But it's definitely an interesting take, and it was a lot of – I'll let you guys listen to it, but there's a lot of really good and a lot of really bad free agent picks for the Eagles. So go check that out, and hopefully we're talking about signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson tomorrow. We still have that extension for Jalen Hurts sitting on the horizon, but go enjoy your Saturday. It's supposed to be a little chilly, but a very nice day from what I'm seeing. Enjoy. Hopefully your bracket's not too busted like mine is, but it's March Madness, baby. So until next time, I will see you when I see you.